Good evening. Earlier this year, I did something I have never done before in my life. Something I never thought I would do. I got arrested. Yep, that's me up there, being carried away by 4 policemen from Oxford Circus during the Extinction Rebellion protests this April. Now, I suspect that some of you may be wondering why on earth a respectable, middle-class, 71-year-old granny like me would do such a thing, especially at a time of life when many my age are settling into retirement, enjoying the grandkids, and maybe planning the odd cruise. Well, the answer is really very simple. I am afraid, and I am angry. I am afraid because I've been listening to the climate scientists who tell us that time is running out to stop this beautiful Goldilocks planet of ours from tipping over into irreversible climate and ecological disaster. I fear for the future of children now alive, let alone those still to be born. And I am angry, very angry, with those in positions of power who could do something about it, but who seem to lack all political will and absolutely any sense of urgency. If eminent scientists whose knowledge I respect tell me that all that I love is in danger, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to do something about it, even if it does mean getting into trouble with the law. Now, I suppose at this point, I ought to be giving you some facts and figures. But quite honestly, I don't see the point. Facts and figures just don't seem to cut it. Those same eminent scientists have been giving us facts and figures for decades now, and nothing seems to change. Carbon levels in the atmosphere continue to rise, and the fossil fuel industries continue to flourish with business as usual. Well, okay, I'll just give you one fact. The last 4 years have been the hottest ever recorded since records began in 1850, and 2019 is looking set to top the lot. Now, this does not mean, yippee, we can all holiday on the coast of Cornwall. No, it means extreme weather events. It means flooding and droughts and wildfires and dying coral reefs and food shortages and thousands, if not millions, of climate refugees fleeing their uninhabitable homes. Estimates vary over how long we've got before we reach that 1.5 degree increase in average global temperatures, beyond which we dare not go. Some say we have as much as 10 to 11 years. Others a good deal less. Whatever the case, surely there can be no denying that we are facing an existential crisis, the like of which humanity has never faced before. That is why I want to use my TEDx talk tonight to call out to my generation, the baby boomers. The school children are in the streets right now, protesting against their stolen futures and demanding urgent action. And we should be with them, out there with them, in solidarity. After all, it has been on our watch that the worst of all this has happened. So, baby boomers, consider this your call-up. We need an army of rebel retirees. The earth, your children, and your grandchildren need you. Or else, one day, you might hear one of them say to you, "And what did you do in the climate crisis, Grandma?" Now I'd just like to say a few words to that younger generation. Well, only one word really. Sorry. You have every reason to be very angry with us. All I can say is that we did not realize what we were doing at the time. But some did, and they will have to answer to you and the court of future generations. When I join your youth strikes and I read your placards and I hear your impassioned words, it moves me to tears. You and Greta Thunberg have my total support. So please talk to your parents and your grandparents, explain to them just what's at stake, and get them to join you on the streets. And now a few words to my son's generation, the ones in the middle. You have demanding jobs, young families, and yes, elderly parents to care for. Your lives are busy and stressful, and time is at a premium. But when you do have a moment, you must be concerned about your children's and your own future. Why not show your parents this TEDx talk and see if you can enlist their support? I know that some of you have taken the very difficult decision not to bring children into a dying planet. And I really respect that decision, though it makes me very sad. Others of you do all that you can to keep your carbon footprint to a minimum, but have little time for activism. I do understand. I didn't either at your age. Allow me to share with you just a little bit of my story. I have to confess that I'm a latecomer to activism of any kind. Although I was a teenager in the 60s, I never got involved with Ban the Bomb or the Greenham Common Women. And my very first march wasn't until 2003 against the Iraq War. But during my 50s and 60s, I have grown increasingly concerned about the environment. I can't deny that it was my love of animals that first drew me in. I grieved for that poor, iconic polar bear in the melting ice of the Arctic, and the terrified orangutans in the burning forests of Indonesia. And closer to home, I mourn our own disappearing wildlife. And then, on top of all that, there is the sheer outrageous injustice of it all, that those who have done the least to cause this problem are even now suffering its worst effects. In 2009, I could bear the pain no longer. We moved from France to Bristol just so that I could get engaged in environmental activism. Because for me, activism is the antidote to despair. And so for the last 10 years, I have dedicated myself, along with others, to campaigning for life on Earth. And that is why I so want to call out to more of my generation, many more, to get on board. I love this quotation by Maggie Kuhn. She founded the Grey Panthers in America. And for me, it says it all. The old, having the benefit of life experience, time to get things done, and the least to lose by sticking their necks out, are in the perfect position to serve as advocates for the larger public good. We must act as the elders of the tribe, looking out for the best interests of the future and preserving the precious compact between the generations. She's right. We do have the benefit of hard-won life experience, and with it a certain amount of wisdom. This is something only the elderly can offer. So let's give up striving to be young. This youth-obsessed society of ours now more than ever needs the wisdom of wise elders. I will never forget the words of a young man who said to me that when he saw old people lying on the bridges in London last November, he felt as though it gave him permission to be there. Age does confer a certain amount of wisdom, so let's not be afraid to use it. We also have something else that many others do not have: time. So much so that some of us feel lonely and isolated and lacking in purpose. Age UK has estimated that there are over 1.3 million lonely retirees in this country at the moment. Don't be lonely. Get involved. Extinction Rebellion has a group called the XR Elders, and in Bristol, some of them call themselves the Aged Agitators. Here is a picture of them marching through the streets of London this October in their splendid silver cloaks. They brought dignity and gravitas to the proceedings, and they did not risk arrest. I can promise you, you will never feel lonely on a demonstration, and you never know, you just might find your tribe. Maggie Kuhn also says that we have little to lose by sticking our necks out, and I certainly found that to be true when I got arrested. All that I risked was 12 hours in the local police station and a £70 fine. The police treated me with the greatest kindness and respect. Now, I do realise that as an old white woman, I have a certain privilege here. Something that not all sectors of our society can enjoy. So all the more reason to use it. Seeing older people get arrested has a particularly powerful effect. It breaks the stereotype of the activist. But of course, you don't have to get arrested. There is so much else that needs doing behind the scenes. There's office work and catering and legal observing and welfare and media and driving, so much else. But if you do choose to get arrested and to lay your body on the line, it certainly makes an impact. In the Native American culture, there is something called the seventh generation principle. It holds that for every decision we make, we must take into account its effect on our descendants 7 generations into the future. The elders of the tribe were the custodians of that principle. Sadly, in our mad, materialistic world, we've lost that role. So, let us reclaim our rightful place as the elders of the tribe, and with it find our tribe, our community, our sense of identity and purpose. We are living in a time of unprecedented, dramatic change. We, the elders, now more than ever, have a key role to play at this crucial time. Future generations are counting on us. So please, join the rebellion, support the youth strikes, and do all that you can in the remaining active years you have left to work for a safe earth. We owe it to the children to leave them the best possible legacy. Indeed, the only thing they will ever really need: a diverse, sustainable, and inhabitable planet